Hello everyone. It is Kathryn myself, 5D Visionary, Elevated Consciousness Coach. How you doing on this 555 portal? Or in this 555 portal is probably more accurate. I'm gonna wait for everybody to jump on here. It is All Things Ascension, episode 19, and we are talking about the 555 portal today. And this amplification 3 times of the number 5, because here we are in the 5th month of the year. It is the 5th day of this month, and it is a 5-year in numerology, 2021. So we have an amplification and magnified vibration of the number 5. And what does the number 5 signify? So the number 5 signifies a lot of different things. And depending on where you are in your life, happy 555 to you, Kathryn. It can signify a lot of things depending on what is going on in your life. But the number 5 is a number of movement. It's a number of profound change, like big shifts, not just a little nudge, not just a little shove, but like big shifts. It catalyzes movement. It is affirmative change. It's positive change. Anytime we are making that transition to what ends up being more positive change for us, we go through a little disruption, right? We go through a little disruption of our routine. What is familiarized to us, what we're habituated to, that always involves a shakeup. That's true of anything. When we are anchoring any kind of change, but especially so with positive change, because we tend to not trust what's coming as something being good for us. Because it always involves an energetic commerce, a give and take, meaning you can't take the old you with you where you're going with this positive change. And even if our old identity of self, our personal reality, is wrapped up in maybe a good deal of pain and not so positive transformation before, it's still who we recognize as me, myself. Even with all the trauma and baggage and garbage that comes along with that. It's just part of the growing pains of accepting something in new, to give up something in order for that energetic change to take hold and stabilize. And I know a lot of us are feeling this right now. I know this because of the class that I'm teaching right now, which is in alignment. Because the energy just feels right now like whoosh, 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 right? It's just feeling like waves and waves of change that are catalyzing something better. And it is, like I said, difficult to trust that. But you're really being asked to trust this now. You're really being asked to surrender to the fact that there is something better in store. The best is yet to come. Instead of trying to white knuckle this old way of being that, yeah, it's familiar, yeah, it's comfortable, but no growth ever happens in your comfort zone. But here's what I would like to say. It doesn't have to be uncomfortable. It doesn't have to be a struggle. To the degree that you're holding on to resistance to this major catalyst of change, and especially this time around the 5-5 portal, to the degree that you're holding a level of resistance to it, is to the degree exactly of where you're going to struggle, or where you're going to feel like you are suffering. So where's the resistance? Go a little deeper with, what am I really afraid of happening? Am I really afraid of what I'm asking for will come true? Because then that would mean that I have to step up and be responsible and accountable for this new me. That kind of upheaval can be something that feels so traumatic to us. Something good, yes, can feel so traumatic to us that we'll find ways to sabotage it. This has a lot to do with the course I'm teaching right now, and I really think you should come. Because I'm not trying to tell tales out of school here, but I'm teaching a very, very powerful course right now called In Alignment. And I think you should come, especially if the messages here I'm sharing with you resonate. What else about 555? 555 and that series of numbers is the number of the teacher. I resonate very strongly with 555. I see it everywhere. 555 is my favorite time of day, in the evening, not the morning. I am not a morning person. In the evening. And I love 555 especially, as a time of day, because it is when the veil thins. That time towards the end of the day where it's late afternoon, it's kind of going a little bit into the evening. The veil between worlds, between dimensions is very thin at this time. So this is when I receive a lot of downloads, a lot of information. And 555, because we are in the integration of this portal through the alchemy of these numbers together, magnifying each other, the veil is also very thin. So there's a lot of downloads coming in. There's a lot of integration of old teachings too. So 555 is the number of the teacher. It's also the number of teachings. So be present and awake to the fact that maybe you've taken part in something before, a methodology or a training, you learned a modality, and maybe there's some pieces that didn't click for you at the time. Or maybe you had a coaching session with someone and you had some good takeaways, but there was some part that really didn't, be on the lookout for that. Because 555 brings in an integration of those pieces that couldn't land before, or you wouldn't allow them to land before. You couldn't receive them before in a way where it landed with you and you could say, that's what that is. Be on the lookout for that. Especially around these next 3 days, because this energy is, like I said, very strong, very palpable right now. So we actually entered this portal about 2 days ago, but the energy has just been building and building and building and climaxing. But we've got about 3 more days of this delicious energy. And not that the energy isn't delicious all the time. I think it is. But this particular portal is bringing in this energetic resonance of allowing past teachings, past teachers, hi Pamela, to have those pieces that they helped you to bring in or tried to help you bring in at the time. If they didn't click then, be on the lookout, because they're probably gonna gel and mesh and click like a puzzle piece now. Kathryn says, yes, Twilight, the colors at that time are otherworldly, especially here in Tahoe. I think I've shared many pictures, because that's the time I go walking by the lake. I live 4 blocks from Lake Tahoe. I'm very lucky to live where I live. And I love to go walking down at the lake shore at that time. And where I walk facing west, when the sun dips down beneath the mountains, I almost always get a beautiful pink sky. And the way it looks on the lake and the way the sky looks, and if there's clouds, it's even more dramatic and just majestic and otherworldly. I love it. It's my favorite time of day. So what is also being ushered in is obviously a new phase. And if you're here, if you're tuned into this, that's probably because you're already feeling it. You already know. You're already in it. It's already happening. This new phase is at the level of soul expression of you. Your soul essence is really responsible for transforming key aspects of your life right now. Instead of the ego, finally, right? So also being very present and aware at this time, listening to those nudges that are coming from your body, because largely your intuition speaks to you through your body, right? I have a whole practice around this that I've shared with you guys many times. Your place of truth, finding your truth frequency. You also have a falsehood frequency, and it's in the body. It's biofeedback. So when you are making decisions right now, and especially if you are up against some difficult decisions right now, you're weighing something fairly heavy in your life, step away for a second when you're doing that and say to yourself, all right, am I trying to decide this from my ego? In other words, who I have been? Hi, Tammy. Hello, lovely lady. I miss you, sister. Am I making this decision or attempting to make this decision from my ego self, from my linear me, i.e. who I have been many, many times before? Or Can I now choose differently and choose to listen very, very acutely, very intensely to where my body is telling me yes or no? Try that. And, play with it. In the class I'm teaching right now, when we were talking about the place of truth, and I was saying, you know what? You got to play with this perspective. Go into the supermarket and decide what you're having for dinner that night, where you're being drawn to in the grocery store, and then go into your body. Look for your body's feedback of, tonight's the night I'm having asparagus and pea pasta. And you don't state it in a question, you state it in the affirmative. Or how about this? Maybe some of you are trying to decide, like, should I sign up for this program or should I work with this coach? And you just don't know. This is the time to really ask yourself, am I asking from the old me's perspective? Because we are in this new earth timeline. We just haven't anchored it yet. So if you keep relegating yourself to the decisions you would have made in the old earth timeline, the old you, the previous version of you, you're just doomed to be on a repeat of more of the same, more of the same. It might be different players, events, and scenarios coming in, but it's the same outcomes and predictable space that you're creating for yourself over and over again. It's time to be brave and courageous and act differently, respond differently, choose differently, and trust that if you leap, the net is going to be there, because it is. I know, Pamela, it's one of the easiest things ever. To me, that's why I've been teaching this for over 20 years, because it's so reliable. So reliable, your place of truth. So when you're trying to figure out, is this new coaching situation, this new program, is this right for me, blah, 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 whatever it is, if it's a big decision, state it in the affirmative. I fully trust in the transformative process that can come about with working with this coach. I fully and completely allow my energy to be safe in the hands of this program, this coach, this mentor, etc. State it in the affirmative. Get really still and present. The answer comes, and it comes through the body. Okay? So there's that. 555 is the number of unity consciousness. It is the number of Christed consciousness, which is to say unity consciousness. It's the number of wholeness. It's the number of integration. So that's why I said it's as the number that represents teachers or teachings. This is where those pieces that didn't land with you before, they come in. It's the number of integration. If you keep seeing 555, it is a significant sign that you are here to anchor that, this new level of integration. You're here to anchor unity consciousness. You're here to act as an agent, a benevolent agent of Christed consciousness. You're here to bring the light. You're here to hold it, bring it, anchor it, shine it bright, without feeling like, oh, that's too bright. Oh, who am I to hold this light? This is too big for me. That's the old you. That's the old earth timeline talking. Those rules don't apply anymore, okay? You are safe to shine your light. You're safe to be visible doing it. You're safe to be visible with your message. You're safe to be a teacher. This number brings up all the support and resources around those of us who feel called to be teachers and mentors. Yeah. And those of you who are really paying attention to this energy, you're already feeling it. I'm already telling you, something you already know. And the reminder at this time is that this is affirmative change happening. This 555 is catalyzing affirmative change, positive change. Whether you trust it as such or not is how much you are tethered to the old earth timeline of you and that identity of self that is identified by limitation, contraction, lack, and want, and fear. Or to the degree that you're saying, okay, I'm a teacher. These energies support me right now as a mentor, as a teacher, as a way shower, as a visionary thought leader. So if I leap, the net is there, and it is. But it doesn't mean that you can't ask for help. Don't assume, yes, less editing. Absolutely, Dina, absolutely. It doesn't mean that you can't still ask for support. Sometimes we have this expectation, like, I'm doing all these great things in the world, like, where's all my support? Did you ask for it? You have free will choice. So there is an unspoken agreement with higher forces that they don't mess with our free will choice down here. So if you're not asking for help, number one, why? Why? Is there a need somewhere that you feel you have to do it all alone? Are you suffering under like some sort of martyr complex? I have before. I'll be the first to admit it. I'm not exempt from that. And if you feel like you can't ask for help, why? But also, if you did ask for help, what would that be? Where is there a piece where you feel like it's there, like you're right on the cusp of it, something is right on the tip of your tongue, or there is an opportunity that's meant for you to step into now, but you're not sure what it is. It's still kind of formless and nebulous, and the full outline, even the broad strokes aren't even there yet. Ask for help. Ask your guides. That support team is there and at the ready, but you have to, from a free will choice perspective, from your God sovereign self, say, I need help. I always call forth, and here's the way I do it, and here's the way I recommend you do it. As a teacher, as a mentor, as a way shower, as a visionary thought leader, I am all those things. I fully claim that. And I've claimed that in full integrity, because I couldn't do what I do if I wasn't in full integrity. The teachings I share, what I share, it doesn't come from me. It comes through me. Because I have taken pains, believe me when I say pains, and made the effort to make myself the clearest channel and vessel possible, so that I don't have anything come through the filter of ego. That's being in integrity as a thought leader, as a visionary, and a way shower. And so I ask for help. Guides, spirit team, serendipities. If you haven't worked with the serendipities, I highly recommend you do, because they are wonderful muses, especially if you have like a creative block. Call forth the 4D and 5D serendipities. Serendipities, angels, guides, masters, spirit team, dragons, all aligned with 100% pure source energy. It's really good to add that last part. I need help, and I need it fast. Help comes. You have to make yourself available for it. You have to believe you're allowed to receive that. That whatever comes in, it's never too big for you. The universe will never send you anything that's too big for you, because there's no such thing. It sends you a preview of this next version of you, and whether you step into that fully or not is entirely your choice as a free will being. But now is the time to trust that there is no such thing as too big. When you are in the fullness and the wholeness of you, in your Christed consciousness, in your 5D timeline, the New Earth timeline of you, there's no such thing as too big. This is exactly what we're talking about in my In Alignment course right now. You will always be prompted in ways that speak to your soul. And you can have this ask be a little more specific. Show me XYZ. Bring me help and bring it fast in a way that is most aligned for me to understand. There's a secret piece. Talk about integration. That's kind of the secret sauce, because sometimes we feel like, that doesn't really work for me. A lot of times, things would come in on a visual level, and to me, it was like akin to hallucinating. I know that sounds like a weird thing to say, but I'm not very clairvoyant. I'm highly clairaudient. I'm highly claircognizant and clairsentient. I even have, I don't know what it's called, but olfactory clair. If someone knows what that is, please put it in the comments. But when I smell things, it takes me to a memory, and then it takes me to a message or a download. Or it takes me to a retrocognition, is another way to say it, a memory that is actually me in another timeline, or precognition. The smell will link me to something yet to come. It's a weird thing. It happens. Some of us have it. So when I ask for information to come in, I ask it to come in the filter of one of those clairs. And so I stopped getting visual messages. Sometimes I get them, but I get them in conjunction with a sound or a tone, because It's hard to explain, but I receive downloads through tones. And then I'm also a scribe. So I kind of transcribe or transmute that into information that I can write down and then share and explain. That's just me. That's my process. So I ask for, okay, me as a teacher, here's how you can help me the best. Bring this information in a way that lands with me in the most alignment with who I am and how I receive information. And then boom, there it is. Don't be afraid to get specific. You can't be too bossy with your guides. That's, again, you tethered to ego. I'm a woman, so I'm asking for too much. This is too much. And we do this all the time, right? We think like we're taking away someone's time, energy. You're dealing with multidimensional beings who are beyond the time-space constrictions of 3D. So when you think of, hey, I call in Archangel Michael today, he can be everywhere at once because he knows how to manipulate the time fields and be in a million places and serve a million people at once. Most of your guides are masters of time and space. So you don't have to worry about taking too much of their time, sucking too much of their energy. It's not possible. They're not 3D beings, okay? There is no finite or limitation on where they are, what they can do, how they can serve you. So ask. And the more you ask, the more they love it. And the more you keep tuning into where they're at, the more you keep bringing your vibration, your frequency up to where they're at, right? And that only brings in more synchronicity, more serendipity, right? It's a reminder at this time, affirmative change. You're being guided, you're being seen, you're being witnessed, you're being loved, you're being supported, and you can't get it wrong. Here's the other message. You can't get it wrong. You'll always be prompted in ways that speak to your soul, not your ego. And this redirect of allowing your soul to be in the driver's seat, always turn to, what is my soul telling me is right now? What is my soul telling me I need now? How can this help my human raise up in harmonic to meet where my soul is at? You will always be redirected to your highest and best path. This is another message that's coming in very, very strongly around this portal. And it's an invitation to let go of the idea of failure. There is no such thing. There is no such thing. There's no failure. There are only opportunities to dig into the treasure trove of wisdom that you've accrued from past experiences to inform you on how you can choose differently now. So there is no failure. And you're always guided in this way. Because think about it this way, you are always and ever on your soul's path. You're always and ever on your soul's path. Because part of your soul's choice, well, it was your soul's choice to incarnate now as a human. So whatever you're doing, even if you feel like you're deviating from where you're supposed to be, or you're just kind of sitting on your ass and twiddling your thumbs, trying to figure out what to do next, that's part of your soul's path too. That's part of your soul's path too. It's this dance between your human and your soul. Allow the dance to happen. Allow the dance to happen. You're always and ever on your soul's path. So even if it feels like some days like, I don't want to be productive today, I don't want to do anything today, I just want to be. Listen to that part of you. That is your soul saying, take a rest. Your human needs a rest. That is your soul saying, you know what? Maybe this next piece comes in when you're totally still. You're totally quiet. You're doing nothing. You're watching a dumb commercial. You're watching, you're binging on something on Netflix. I can't tell you how many times I've just like, all right, time out. I'm taking a time out. And I'm just going to watch a stupid movie that I've seen like a million times before. But my body is craving like laughter. So I'll watch a stupid comedy, like a Will Ferrell comedy is always like the perfect antidote for me when I'm like, okay, too much big nebulous stuff. I'm too much up here. I need to be in here. I need to laugh. I need to move my body. I need to be a human that's having fun and in my joy. That's when what I'm asking for comes in. So let yourself off the hook about, I have to use this time, this 555 portal to like put out something great and grandiose into the world. Maybe not. Maybe you are here right now in this 5-5 portal to just receive, to integrate those pieces that haven't really fully landed yet. Give yourself this opportunity. Tune into that soul part of self, your place of truth, and say, all right, what is the highest and best thing for me to do right now? Where can I open myself to receive more? Where can I allow that? How can I live more from the perspective of my soul self? These are all great questions to be asking right now. And know that you can't get it wrong. There is no failure. There are only opportunities to dig deep into the treasure trove of who you've been, glean the wisdom from that, and use that as contrast to say, all right, well, I see where that's gotten me. How can I choose differently now? You might want to ask, how can I fully be supported as a teacher now, as a way shower now, as a visionary thought leader now? And then just let it go. Don't attach yourself to that. It's like you put the request in a helium balloon and you're holding the string, and the second you make that request, how can I be more supported as a teacher right now, as a way shower? Imagine putting that in that helium balloon and then just letting it go. Let it go into the ether. Let it mix with the glorious alchemy of the cosmos so that all of the answers that are conspiring on the behalf of the best, highest timeline of you come in, integrate, and then pop goes that balloon, and all the good stuff kind of trickles down into your consciousness in a way that you can download it that is aligned for you to receive it. Trust that this is where we are right now. It's a very magical time. It is so potent. It is so electric. It is so palpable. Feel into how you can use these energies best for you, because everyone's going to have a different use of, translation of, and connection with this 555 portal. Sink into what this means for you. Give yourself time of stillness to ask these questions, use these prompts that I'm sharing with you here, and be open. Stay supple and flexible in your thinking. There are clues, there are breadcrumbs everywhere right now. If only you'd be present enough to see them, feel them, hear them. Okay? So that's all I wanted to say today. And I really hope that this has been something that spoke to your heart, spoke to your soul. And I invite you to really be present. Be present with what is. Love where you're at. And let this be the excitement of the best is yet to come. More is coming. More of this, please. Even if all the pieces aren't fully lined up in your life, how are you today? Do you have everything you need today? Then be grateful for that. Because if you can't love where you're at, the universe reads that vibration of, I'm not going to give you more of that then. If you don't appreciate it, if you don't love it. We can't build on our greatness if we don't love where we are. So love where you are. Am I taken care of today? Yes. Great. I'm thankful for that. I love it. I appreciate that. More of this, please. And in fact, more of this or better. Okay? Thanks, Kathryn. I'm going to let you translate the rest for yourself by sitting with yourself and courting your own soul with this information. So lots of love and peace to you all. Bye-bye.